Welcome back to the Neshoba Valley Chamber Business Buzz. My name is Melissa Federhoff. I'm the president and CEO of the Neshoba Valley Chamber. And today I am here with Bridget, who is the head of school for Oak Meadow Montessori School. Welcome, Bridget.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you for coming. I'm super excited to talk about Oak Meadow.
Same.
Right? So since 1977, Oak Meadow Montessori has been a place for students where curiosity thrives and learning comes alive. I had the opportunity years ago to visit and see it in action. It's so amazing. So today we're going to talk a little bit beyond education, and we're talking about the way that we educate our children and how it directly impacts workforce, entrepreneurship, all kinds of fun things that the chamber loves. We're going to talk about what Montessori really is. And so, Bridget, talk to us about Montessori.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, first and foremost, we got to get you back out to the school again.
Yes.
You know, there's been, of course, there's changes over the years and things like that. But I'm glad to know that you have been out before. And so hopefully we'll get you back in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I just started the role in July of this year, but I've been working in Montessori, in the Montessori philosophy for the past 15 years. And so Montessori education, I think, is really interesting for folks that don't know. Maria Montessori was a female doctor in Italy in the early 1900s. And really, again, like she had studied surgery, she had, all these things. And her first position out of grad school was working in what they called at the time an asylum. So working with children with pretty severe or significant needs. Through a process of observation, she started noticing, conditions in the early 1900s are not what they are today. And so she started noticing that there was this drive of children to really have hands-on materials, to manipulate things. And so when she started crafting an environment that was designed towards the things that she observed, the natural tendencies that she observed in children, she started having incredible success. So she got a government grant. She started her first school in like the slums of Rome. And again, based on this iterative practice of observation and refinement of the environment, she developed this methodology of education that was incredibly responsive to the developmental needs of children. And so what started happening was that the children in the slums of Rome started doing better on the national exams than children in typical schooling. And, the timing of her success was such that really she started taking, like her pedagogy started taking off during the First World War, the Second World War. So during this time of incredible political strife, meanwhile, she's educating for peace. And so it was this really powerful method that, it has taken off and it's persisted, and here we are in 2026. And there are now over 5,000 Montessori schools across the U.S., and there are some that are in about 10% of those are public schools. Again, really, because that's the root of the pedagogy, is making this kind of education available for all children to help all children develop to their fullest potential.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that. So what does the research say about why Montessori works? Like, how does a child first self-directed learning model translate into real life for students?
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting that, in our culture right now, if I were to ask you, Melissa, what do you think is like the most important time for a child's education? What would you say?
Oh, Lord, I have no idea. I'm a favorite on. I don't know these things.
Well, I think a lot of folks would say, high school. Like, it doesn't really matter when they do until like high school, or like,
Fair.
all of their education is building up so that they can get into the best college or whatnot. But really, based on brain science, the most important time for a child to be educated are birth through age 6.
Oh,
Isn't that fascinating?
that really is.
And the reason why is because of brain development. And so it's like during these really formative times, right? Surely or if you do not have family members yourselves, surely you know somebody who came to this country as a young child versus somebody who came to this country as an adult.
Yes.
And the discrepancy between the way that they learn language, right? If people come here as a child and they learn language, it's like they learn it effortlessly.
Yes.
Versus as adult, it's really a concerted effort. You have to work really hard to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because the chemistry of the brain during those first 6 years of life is rapidly expanding. And so children are able to absorb and pick up things in a way that just adult brains cannot. And so the younger you are, the more potential you have to impact like the trajectory of your life and of like your brain structure and all of those things. And so, did I answer your question?
Yes.
Uh,
So there's a lot of conversation about workforce readiness.
yes.
And how do you feel that Montessori develops the skills that businesses are so desperately looking for?
Yeah. Okay. So let me turn this one back to you as
Yeah.
well. So in your experience, right? Because Chamber of Commerce, hello, all you're doing is dealing with businesses all day
Mhm.
long, especially small businesses, local businesses. Who are the people? What are the character traits that they have that you find are like really the most successful?
Entrepreneurs, go-getters.
Yes. People who are self-driven,
Yes.
people who are creative
Yep.
thinkers, people who are able to like stick with a task for a while,
Right.
and people who have like flexibility of thinking,
Yes.
right? And so really that's what the structure of our model is doing for children. And so instead of like a traditional schooling setting will be a teacher at the front of a class teaching, and the requirement of children is to sit and attend.
Mhm.
And we know in the real world that like sitting and attending is not what's going to help your business succeed.
Mhm.
You have to be hands on. You have to be able to adapt and innovate and think creatively.
Yeah.
And so in a Montessori classroom, that model is reversed, where it's really about, the teacher works with a child one on one based on the particular challenges that they're struggling with, helps them to scaffold the skills to be able to solve their own issues. And especially in our older grades, so we serve toddlers up through 6th grade.
Mhm.
And so in the older grades as well, the children are really taking on like these big, complex problems that are speaking to their interests. And
Mhm.
so they're able to like deep dive, again, innovate in all of the things. And so some of our kids this year, they were given the opportunity to create an escape room. Have you been to an escape room before?
Yes.
Isn't that really cool?
Yes.
And when I tell you, like, my expectations were pretty low,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, sure, there will be some puzzles here or something. And they created in the building an escape room. They had gone off site to a game room in Nashua, New Hampshire,
Mhm.
and they'd interviewed the game designer. They had done all of this work, and then they created in school their own version of an escape room. And it was so complex
Ah,
and it was so cool. And then the business came and visited the kids' game room. They loved it.
that's
And so they
awesome.
offered a partnership. So the kids are now designing a game room for this business in New
That's
Hampshire. Isn't that
cool. I
amazing?
love that. Oh my god.
Yes.
And the kids must be so proud.
So proud. And and then and the business was so kind to us. They offered a percentage of the proceeds to the kids as part of their fundraising efforts.
Oh, that's
And so they're
awesome.
using that. They're going to Arizona this
Oh,
year to the Grand Canyon. So they're using that to
wow.
offset some of their costs.
Oh,
Pretty cool,
wow.
right?
That is so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
That's fun. So what other kinds do the students always do projects like that or?
We do have like a really intense project-based component,
Mhm.
right? And so, one of the science projects that the older kids are doing now is about like adaptive technologies. And so, for instance, folks that have been in accidents and have like lost an arm or whatnot, how do you engineer assistive and adaptive technologies to be able to function in the world that really, again, centers like able-bodiedness?
That's amazing. Like that 6th graders.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm impressed.
And so, but this is what I'm saying, right? About like the innovation and the
Mhm.
creativity. And it's just, I think that like our mindset as a school tends to be like, we don't say like no.
Yeah.
We just ask the questions of like, okay, how? What's your next step?
Right.
And so I think that like being able can you imagine as a child having that mindset built into you?
No.
I know.
But I love that. That's great.
But actually, this is like a great
Right.
opportunity. If you don't mind, I'm going to take an
Yeah.
opportunity and just pitch. Like, we actually do love collaborating with businesses because, again, like, that's what we're trying to do for our kids is to like, we're, our goal for them is preparation for life. It's not preparation for a state test. It's not preparation for, whatever academic markers. It's preparation for life. How are you going to succeed in this world that is constantly changing?
Constantly.
Yes.
Well, I love that you brought that up because I was going to ask, you're involved in the chamber. And so somebody could say, why would a school be involved with the chamber? But you have the opportunity to connect with all these businesses.
Yes. I mean, and that's exactly right. I think, for a long time, there has been a mindset of like, we are very insular, we are, our own thing or whatnot. And I think really, especially like if COVID, if these like recent times have taught us anything, it's how incredibly interconnected we all are and how reliant we are on one another. As we look at our main goal of preparing children for life, we're not doing that in isolation. We're doing that in partnership, obviously, with parents, but also with the community. We are because our community is, right? And so, like, we are always looking for ways to, again, like innovate and collaborate. And when we work together, it just becomes a richer experience for everyone. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So if a business wanted to learn more, get involved,
Yeah.
how would you suggest that they do that?
Yeah, I think absolutely reach out. Right. And so we have a website, but also they can reach out to me personally. Laura, our communications and community management. Yes,
Yeah.
Laura, she's
Yes. She
fabulous.
is.
And so we're small. And so it's not hard to get in touch. Yeah, just reach out.
Excellent. So, all right, let's switch gears for a second. We're going to
Okay,
do
love it.
some rapid fire questions so that our listeners can get to know you a little bit.
Love it.
So one word that defines Montessori.
I've used this a lot. Innovative.
Perfect. I love it. Leadership trait that you value the most.
Collaboration.
I do too. I love that
Yeah.
one. Yes. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Yes. I can literally drink coffee all day, but
Right? I know. It's a problem.
a book that has influenced your thinking.
Oh, Atomic Habits.
I haven't read that one, but I hear so much about it.
You've got to do it.
Okay.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right. What summarize like a nutshell?
I think it's just the small actions that we take every single day end up becoming like the sum of who we are. And so it's just like really powerful that you have the potential to change your life with these really small actions.
Nice. I
Yeah.
love it. All right. If you weren't in education, what would you be doing?
Ooh. Oh my gosh. I haven't let's see.
Did you always want to be in education growing up?
I kind of did.
Yeah.
And I just think, again, right, and in education, here's the thing, is that we're trained to see potential. And so I can't unsee that. I can't unsee potential.
So what do you think, what is one thing that you wish that every business leader understood about Montessori education?
The younger you can educate your children, the better. I think that, again, just like investing, like early investing, your compound interest can be astronomical. And the same is true with education. And Montessori education provides children with such a good foundation for the rest of their lives.
Do you guys ever hear from students that have gone through your program years ago and like how they're doing? And
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're amazing. We've started really like writing up their stories and like putting them on our walls. And just because, again, I think sometimes we focus so much on the outcomes that we forget that like the process starts now,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great. What is a takeaway for parents that are considering different educational options?
I think something that's really important for parents that are considering options is finding something that aligns with your values. So if you're looking at different models, I think it's important to go and visit schools and honestly do like a vibe check. I know that that sounds like a little woo woo, but at the same time, your intuition
Mm-hmm.
is powerful.
Yeah.
And if you can find something that aligns with your values, then you will always be happy with the
Yeah.
choices that you make.
Sure. So looking ahead, what excites you most about Oak Meadow Montessori School?
Yeah, I think next year we're celebrating our 50th anniversary,
Yeah.
which is unbelievable. We have an amazing team of teachers, and I think that we're starting to see, again, this growing interest as we continue to put ourselves out there. We are being warmly embraced by the community around us,
Nice.
and that feels very hopeful, happy, I think, in, again, a time that could be considered divisive or dark, It's like the power of community continues to shine through, so that
Right.
feels good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What is there anything that we haven't covered that you want our listeners to know about?
We love the Neshoba Valley Chamber of Commerce.
Aw.
Melissa, I think you're doing a great job.
Thank
You are
you.
crushing this. And
Thanks.
yeah, that's it. That's it. If you're curious, come and visit us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, website is oakmeadow.org. Where are you located?
Littleton, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if folks want to get more information, visit your website, oakmeadow.org, and they can connect with you right there.
Yes, absolutely. And info@oakmeadow.org. I'll see all of those emails that come through. And that's the easiest one to remember.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And
Thank
I
you.
absolutely want to come back out and have a visit.
Please do.
I'm looking forward to seeing kids in action again.
Awesome.
They are amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in, and special thanks, of course, to AJ of Clear Signal Productions, our podcast producer, for making this episode possible. Have a great day.